Well, I'm definitely glad that you're here, and I'm very much glad that you're enjoying the presence of the Lord. I have a confession to make. Today's sermon is for me. So I hope you enjoy it, but understand that it's for me today, okay? You ever been there, Pastor Tim? Yeah. Yeah, this one's for me today. Actually, I had a really neat thing planned for you today, and the Lord woke me up early this morning and said, that was nice. And I'm excited to hear what he has to say to me today. I hope your hearts and minds are ready for what he has to say to you. Psalm 23. It's kind of unique for me to be preaching out of this psalm because I think the only time I've ever preached out of it would be at a funeral. I'm not sure I remember preaching out of Psalm 23 at any other time at this point in my ministry, but wow, the Lord has a word for us today. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not be in want. You just allow yourself to soak in that for a moment. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not be in want. The Lord is my defender. The Lord is my protector. As my shepherd, he's got my back. As my shepherd, he has my best in mind. As my shepherd, he's going to lead me to where I can feed. He makes me lie down in green pastures, and he leads me beside quiet waters. Just for a moment, will you close your eyes and envision that? Not for too long, I don't want you to fall asleep. But envision this. Vision this picture. He's causing you right now to lie down in green pastures beside still and quiet waters. And as you're doing this, the stress of life is fading away. The burdens that have been weighing heavy on you are just falling off to the side. And peace is setting in. It's a peace that passes all understanding. The world doesn't know what this is like. They don't get it. But here we are experiencing the presence of Almighty. You can open your eyes now. No snoring. He is our shepherd. He is our defender. He is our protector. He is our leader. And he's got our best in mind. And he's leading us into places of rest. Places of peace. Is there anybody in here that needs that today? So it's not just for me. Okay, there's a few others. He restores my soul. The very essence of who I am, the very core of my being, the part of me that he loves so much and bled and died for. He's restoring it, redeeming it, refreshing it, renewing it. Can you feel him doing that work in you? Can you open up your soul enough to just allow the Spirit to restore the things that he wants to restore. I love the imagery of restoration. He's a big enough God, you guys, that no matter how far you've gone, no matter how bad it's been, no matter how hard life has been, no matter how many mistakes you have made, no matter how many sins you have committed, he is a restoring, redeeming God. Do you believe that today? We all need it. For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Every one of us in here needs the restoration of Almighty at work in our souls. He is our shepherd. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. See, he's leading us. His desire is to lead us into good places, into places where we could feed. If you want to keep the imagery of the shepherd and the sheep in mind, he's going to lead us into the best place, into the right place, into the good place. He's going to lead us into those peaceful places, and it's paths of righteousness, not destruction. Paths of righteousness, not unrighteousness. Paths that are right, full of rightness. And you know what? It's not for your glory, it's for his. It's for his name's sake. I wonder, have we gotten to the place in our journeys where we can say it's all for his name's sake? Have you gotten to the place where you can answer, my life is for his name's sake? The path that I'm on right now is for his name's sake. The words that I say, the actions that I do, the goals that I have are for his name's sake. If you can, you are experiencing him as your shepherd. He's leading you into those places. For his name's sake. And then it turns a corner, a dramatic corner, where we have been experiencing peace and rest and stillness and feeding and joy. Suddenly there's a turn. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Suddenly the real world kicks in, doesn't it? But here's the reality of what's being said here. It's only a shadow of death. It's only a shadow. Consider your shadow for a moment. Is your shadow really you? No. Is it even a good image of you? No, it's distorted, isn't it? It's a distorted image of you. It's a distorted representation of who you are. And I'm realizing this morning that when we are in the valley of the shadow of death, we are not walking in the valley of death. It is only a shadow that is coming over us. It is distorted. It isn't real. Why? Because he is our shepherd. And he's leading us down paths of righteousness. And even though we may feel like the valley has gotten very deep and that the shadow is coming over us and darkness is all around, he raises us up. And I'll tell you how I know this. Because I'm reminded of Ephesians chapter 1 and Ephesians chapter 2. Ephesians chapter 1 tells me, I am his son. I have been adopted as his son. I have been chosen as his son. I have been predestined to be his son. In fact, so much so that he has sealed me with the promised Holy Spirit. I know who I am in him. And then Ephesians chapter 2 goes on to say, not only am I adopted as his son, but he is raising me up into the heavenly realms to be seated with him. And when I grab onto that picture, when I realize the truth of that picture, suddenly I am lifted out of the valley of the shadow of death, right above it. It's underneath my feet, which is where the enemy is supposed to be kept anyways. And I'm seated in the heavenly realms with Christ. That's where victory is. Regardless of what the world hands us, regardless of who our enemies are, regardless of our accusers, regardless of the ones that say whatever they want to say, whatever the insults might be, whatever the damage that's trying to be done, the reality is it is only a shadow of death, and it is a distorted reality. It is distorted. It's not even truth. The truth is, I am a son. I am an heir to the throne. I have been adopted by him. He chose me. He chose you. And he longs to raise us up. And I'm realizing that not only is he our shepherd, in fact, when David wrote those words, that was before the cross. Here we are on the other side of the cross, and I'm realizing that he's more than a shepherd. He's our Father. He's my Papa. And he's raising me up into the heavenly realms to be seated. And when I think of that picture, I'm drawn right back to here where he says, you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies.